What is up, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Shooting the Shit Uncensored. I am your host, the bald, the bearded, the beautiful Piers Austin, and we are brought to you live. I almost stumbled my words for the 105th time. I apologize, guys, but we are brought to you live by Multi-Continental Wrestling Alliance on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Guys, tonight I have the most Aussiest Australian ever in professional wrestling, Dazza, who's going to be on the show. I am super pumped to be talking to him. He's a great entertaining professional wrestler. He's great in the ring, great on the mic, and a completely great character overall. So, guys, you are in for a treat. But before I get into my interview with Dazza, I just want to take a quick second, a quick pause for the cause, a quick moment to pay some respect to some sponsors. First up is A-Rock Designs. A-Rock Designs is that company, ladies and gentlemen, that you are seeing all over the wrestling Facebook groups, pages, Instagram wrestling pages, everything you can see. They make custom cups, hoodies, keychains, t-shirts, tumblers. They made me this custom CM Punk tumbler, and it is absolutely amazing. Everyone knows I'm a huge Punk mark. Yet I have not put beer in this cup, not because of any other reason. Just it feels wrong to put beer in this cup. So it's going on for quite a while. I'm doing well. But guys, my next sponsor is Signal Studios. Signal Studios is a recording studio based here in Sydney, Australia. Now, if you're an independent professional wrestler, you need to have some really cool entrance music. So guys, if you want to get a new entrance song, or you're a new professional wrestler and you want to get your first entrance song, hit up Signal Studios. They can mix, master, and send it out to you wherever you are in the world, and you will get that very, very quickly. Also, guys, if you're a musician, you live in Sydney, Australia, you need a place to rehearse, you need a place to record, to write music. Signal Studios has the most comfortable, and I mean comfortable, rehearsal studio space you will ever see to get your creative juices flowing. Guys, without further ado, I'm going to bring him out right now. He is Dunny Doo's favorite son, Dazza. Dazza, welcome to Shooting the Shit, brother. How are you?
G'day, good. How are you?
Mate, I'm doing well, buddy. I'm doing well. It's great to have you on the show, man. We have a few people already in the house today. We've got Christy Black Adams saying, love the intro. Roberto Rodriguez, what's up, Piers? What's up, Roberto? And did I hear about WCW 2021? No, I didn't. Thank you anyway. But Dazza, it's great to have you on the show, mate. I was out at the last IWA show, Relentless, the other week. I really enjoyed your match against Will Keatis, man. That was such an entertaining match, and it was the first time I've seen you perform live, man. And I really dug, how you wrestled. I really dug the character. How did you feel being back in front of a crowd for the first time in pretty much a long time?
Oh, it was sensational, mate. As I was saying before, we're sort of doing matches here and there at training and everything, and sort of getting some filming done. And when it's not in front of a crowd, there's just a completely different feel to it. So yeah, being back in front of a crowd, and it was 200 people were at the club that night, and it was incredible. It was really an awesome feeling to be back. And I'd wrestled Will Keatis once before at the start of the year, and ever since that match, we done that in Laurenton, and yeah, I loved it. And then all year, just one of the things that's been getting me through is the thought of wrestling him again. So yeah, it was good to get back, and to do it with him was even better.
Oh, absolutely. And, Keatis is such an amazing in-ring talent as well. And the match you guys had was absolutely amazing. It was so freaking cool, dude.
Thank you.
It was even like Keatis, because he's such a good heel. He plays his character so well that it's automatically instant heat, and it really helps get the babyface over. But obviously, you didn't need help getting over, Dazza. You definitely seem like the character that comes out and just gets instant babyface. And as I said in the intro, you're very much to call yourself Dazza. That's the most Australian name ever for those who aren't from Australia. How did you come up with the whole character of Dazza and what went into it?
So where I train at the House of Free Fighting, there was who everyone would know as Headhunter Rig and Shane Sheffield Sinclair. It was starting to get to a point where I was doing well in training. I was having good training matches, and Hoff, who's the promoter at the Hoos, said like, "We'll give you a run," all that sort of stuff. And then that's where those two boys come to me and said like, "For the last couple of years, we've just had this character that we want to see on shows." And they just thought that I sort of had the perfect look for it and everything. And they said, you know, throw the shit at the wall, see if it sticks. And thankfully, it's doing all right for me.
And were you hesitant at all about the character, or were you just like, man, I'm in, like just
not at all, not at all. Yeah, absolutely. I don't know. I felt that I could do the character really well because I am sort of, I'm just an Aussie bloke. Just it's just one of those things how it sort of turned up to 11 or whatever. But it was a bit funny to begin with because I was sort of told like I might be doing it and all that, and then it was 2 days before my debut. I get a message from Rig saying like, "Get your gear. Like we're going to put you on the next show." So 2 days notice to try and get a pair of overalls is almost impossible, but we got there in the end.
Yeah, man. And like, how was it when you actually made that debut? Like, did you feel comfortable like wrestling in the overalls and going through with the character? Like, how was that first match for you?
Oh, it was sensational. Yeah, it was just a Who's show, so it was like classed as a training show, but I was in there with Rig and Tanner Mo, who were two people that like early on for me were huge mentors to me in training everything, like they were sort of the step above where I was. They'd been training for a couple of years longer, and yeah, they helped me a lot. So to be given my debut match at a Who's show where I train, it was honestly unbelievable. And yeah, like I sort of took to it really well. Like it was a real surprise because as soon as I came out, everyone was clapping along to the song and like they were really into it and everything. And my name popped up and instantly everyone was like chanting the name and everything. And like that was before I even stepped through the curtain. So like once I stepped through and I had the overalls on, there was laughter met with cheer, and it was a great feeling.
And was that the reaction that you guys were wanting? You wanted that sort of happy, sort of like cheering, sort of crowd. Well, I mean, like they wanted you over, but you said that laughing as well. Was that sort of like, was that what it was intended to be? Like something to have a bit of a laugh at as well, or was it intended to be more of that?
I think so, yeah. Like, because in a way, it is a bit of like sort of a piss take, but just because it is so different to everything else you see, like. You see all these athletes and everyone's like in their tights and everything. And then you just see like a chubby kid come out and he's wearing some denim overalls and a straw hat and he's got a pitchfork and like I done a line dance on the apron before I got in the ring and all this sort of stuff. Like, yeah, it was sort of the perfect response that we wanted. Like I got backstage and they just said like, you knocked it out of the park sort of thing, So yeah, it was great.
That's a pretty amazing thing. That was your first match ever?
Yeah. Oh, I'd done a couple of, like, as I said, training matches and that, but also before that, there was a roller derby that I wrestled Matt Rogers, and that went all of, I think, 1.5 minutes. I just got my ass absolutely kicked. And then there was another show in Maitland that was just sort of like for a football club that I wrestled Tanner Mo, but that was before I was like the Dazza character and everything. And
well, you know what, to go out there with a new character and like to be so early into the business as well, and and to get that feedback, that must have put you on cloud 9.
Oh yeah, 100%. Yeah.
Were you like, all right, that's it, I'm off to WWE.
I was ready to hang up the ankle straps there. Like I didn't think it could get any better. But yeah, like to get the feedback that I got from those boys and also like Carter Deems, Adam Hoffman, who's my coach, like just getting good feedback from them for your first match in front of a crowd it's like, I don't know, sort of a feeling that you can't really describe.
Oh, exactly. And I speak to most pro wrestlers, and a lot of a lot of them say, "Oh man, my first few matches sucked." It took me like 10, I mean, like that 10, 15 match to really understand what the fuck I'm doing. And then
Yeah.
it's like, I mean, so it's rare that you obviously picked up pro wrestling very, very well and very, very quickly. But I got one question though. You said you came out and did a line dance on the apron.
Yeah.
How
Yeah.
long did it take you to line dance? Have you known how to do that your whole life, or did we just sort of like, oh fuck, I'll just have a crack, or did you actually put in some practice?
No, well, I caught onto it pretty quick because when I was in year 6 for our formal, like we had to do all this dancing and stuff, and one of them was a line dance that we had to do. So I sort of just tapped back in. Hey Joel, how's it going, mate?
Hey,
Need
Joel,
some merch? Buy it, brother. It's on Wrestle Merch.
that's it.
Yeah. So like I had a little bit of knowledge in the bank, but I did have to do a couple of practice runs to make sure I got it, and yeah, it's good fun. It's funny. I every time I do it, Chelsea, I can't. There's not enough room.
Sorry, Christy. There you go, mate. Hey, Christy, I got to tell you, this is not a stripper show, okay? So don't ask him to. The shirt stay on this show. We shoot the shit, not shoot the shirt. But and that's the thing, man. Like, I think to have that sort of thing where you've got that feedback, what was next for you? Like, where did you then take it from there?
So from there was a couple more Who's shows, and that's sort of when they were like really coming up, and like we were getting better crowds, and they were looked at more than just a training show. So they started to build, and then from there, sorry about that. From there, my main goal was to get on the Newey Pro roster, like on the main shows there, because that's where I found my love for pro wrestling again, and that's like Newey Pro was the first knowledge I had of Australian pro wrestling. So to get on there and like to be at the Charlestown Bowling Club in front of the Newey crowd was awesome. And then like from there, it's just sort of, I don't know, it's just all taken off, and it's been a wild ride. Like getting on IWA, being a Trans-Tasman champion, like going on the summer tours and everything you see, and like going to all these places all around Australia. Oh, sorry, all around New South Wales, not Australia yet. But yeah, going all around New South Wales with IWA has been sensational.
And to be going on these tours and with IWA, and you mentioned going all around New South Wales and wanting to go interstate. Obviously COVID's hit, and it's obviously slowed down a lot of things and put up barriers to a lot of states. But pre or post, let's say post COVID now, but post COVID, where would you like to go and wrestle, like interstate? Is there any promotions that you've had your eye on, that you've watched, that you're interested in?
Yeah, definitely. Like I think the main one would be MCW or EPW over in Perth. Like they're sort of the two main ones that I'd like to get a foot in the door and sort of show my worth to. But like I don't know, I'm still only 3.5 years into training, so yeah, like I don't know, it's sort of hard to explain or whatever, but
No,
I'm just gonna like just sort of keep my keep going here, and eventually I'm sure something will pop up, and then I'll do everything I can and to like prove myself and all that sort of shit.
Yeah, and I think that's the thing. Professional wrestling is like anything. It's anything that you want to do in life. It takes time, it takes effort, and it takes commitment and dedication to it. And in order to get opportunities, it's just like they're not just going to get handed to people. And I think, you've got that right attitude where it's like, okay, I'm 3 years into the business. I've got to keep grinding. I've got to keep getting on
Yeah.
matches and keep getting better and better. You mentioned Rig as someone who's been someone that's been like a mentor for you. How is it when you get in the ring with Rig? Like, he's someone who's done some training with you. He's
Yeah.
done, been a mentor. Does he get in there and light you up, or does he sort of, get in there and take it easy on you?
No, he definitely doesn't take it easy. Rig's my best mate. And yeah, it's in a way, like, even though he's my best mate and like we look after each other, it's still pretty intimidating because he is just this big figure across the ring from you. And like, once he gets in the ring, he's just a completely different person, Like, he's not the same person he is outside of the ring. He has one goal in a match, and that's to win. So yeah, coming up against him, like, I sort of see him as, like, we tag together as well, but he is probably my best competitor that I have. And yeah, like, as I said, sort of he started training a little bit before me, and like, he's helped me so much with training and everything, and like my character and like just wrestling in general. So yeah, to be able to step in the ring with him is an honor.
Yeah, and Rig's a great dude as well. We had him on the show a few months back. He's trying to compete on the beard level with me, but
he's not
it's
there
all
yet.
right. It's all right, but
I just got the top lip going, but
mate, that's it. I reckon
can barely even see it.
I reckon get the handlebars going, brother. Like, I reckon that.
I want to, yeah. I'm a big Hogan mark, so I want to bleach it. I want to see how that'd go, but I don't know.
Mate, if you bleach it and shave the middle of your head and grow out the skullet, dude,
I can't do this color. I love the mullet too much.
Oh, hey, mate, it's a mullet, okay?
The mullet.
So Christy Black Adam, she's got a question. She wanted to know. She's like, "What was one thing that really surprised you going through wrestling training?"
Probably the techniques that you have to learn. Everything. Like, you sort of see it and you think, like, they're sort of just throwing each other around and whatnot, but like, to be able to do everything that we do and be safe with it. Me versus Adam Brooks, yeah, book it. Would love to see that. Yeah, like, just all the technique and the cardio that you need for it. Like, some of the times we might do like a 4-minute match, which might not seem that long, but it's like, you're constantly getting up and down, you're throwing yourself at the ground, you're lifting people up like dead weight, and like, it really takes a toll on you. So like, the fitness level that you need has been probably up there with the main stuff. Yeah.
And that's the thing. Like, I think it's like, probably the biggest misconception of like professional wrestling like fans is like, wrestling training. Like, I mean, I think it's anyone who is a fan of a sport and then they realize when they get in there and do it how hard it really is. And I think, professional wrestling fans probably think, I could start training next week and I'm going to pick it up like no tomorrow. Next week, then the week after, I should be signed to WWE and I should at least be in the Hall of Fame in 6 months. Like, there's people out there, and it's also like the non-wrestling fans that look at it and say the F word, where they don't have an appreciation for it either. Like, I think to be a professional wrestler and to do it, whether part-time, full-time, casually, whatever it is, if you're committed to it and you're putting on great shows, but also like the appreciation comes from like what you put your body through. Like, being in a professional wrestling match is like being in a small car accident, essentially, depending on who you're wrestling on the side of the accident. But, and that's where I think a lot of like non-wrestling fans, like, they really need to sort of like, okay, you don't have to enjoy it, but like, see what these people do and appreciate what these people do for an audience, and because they love professional wrestling.
Yes. Yeah, 100%.
But with that, have you ever had an experience like with wrestling fans where like like I said, at a lot of wrestling shows, beer is being served and alcohol's, free or free flowing. Have you ever had guys try and sort of push the limits, like from the audience with you, like whether it be after the show or during the show?
I've never had there was only really one situation on tour at the start of the year. I'd wrestled Tyson Reed in a match at Foster for the IWA Trans-Tasman Championship. And then after the match, sort of like celebrating everything, and like people ran into the ring. And while like they didn't like attack us or anything, they were just sort of drunk and trying to put the spotlight on them. It was sort of one of those moments where it's just like you sort of freeze and you go like, shit, what do we do? But it was quite funny because there was like a few run-ins and stuff in that match. So there was 8 of us in the ring, like 8 big boys in the ring, and these guys have run in. And then like you got Randall, Rig, myself, Tyson Reed, we're all there like pushing them out and stuff, and like we're like pretty much picking them up, throwing them away and shit like that. It's just that's sort of the only incident that I've ever been involved with, but I have seen like other things happen that like don't go so smoothly, and yeah, like sometimes the boundaries can be pushed.
Yeah,
but yeah, like luckily, like touch wood, I haven't had that. Haven't had anything too severe yet. Hopefully never.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, like, I think wrestlers are like strippers. You can watch them, just don't touch them. You know what I mean? Like,
the barricades are there for a reason.
Yeah, I mean, and that's the thing. Like, you look at a lot of like old school wrestling matches and stuff, like, and not to get off topic here, but you look at when I think there was a run in where a fan ran in a match against RVD and Eddie Guerrero, and Eddie Guerrero fucking cleaned him out. Triple H did the same thing. Some guy
Triple H and Stone Cold,
fuck, and this is back in the like mid '90s, and just beat the living shit out of these guys. But a lot of that does happen. Was that like, obviously in this day and age for you in that situation, did you feel like, okay, no shit, okay, don't do the old school way and beat the fuck out of them? Were you like, no, get him out of the ring, or were you just like, holy shit, what do we do? Like,
well, yeah, I'm sort of someone who has a bit of a cool head, and I was just sort of like in there. I was just sort of saying to him like, guys, you just go, and then there's Rig there he's got a kendo stick and he's like threatening to beat the shit out of him, and like this is just what was happening. It was crazy. But like, I sort of had a cool head about it, and I was just sort of trying to reason with them. Like I understood, the whole excitement at the end of the night, and like they've just seen like I think the show was about 2.5, 3 hours long. So they just wanted to put the spotlight on themselves, but they were harmless. But
they all had a gut full of piss, and
yeah. I'm surprised they got in the ring. Like I thought they would have tried to slide in, just completely missed. They were seeing double, I reckon.
Was there security in the venue? Like, was security trying to get them out of? Yeah.
No, the security was nowhere to be seen. There was 2 security guards, and because there was about 5 of them, they sort of stood back. So yeah, it was really up to us to to protect ourselves. Yeah, the security. I don't want to put any bad light on Foster or anything, but it was just one of those things that you just sort of sit back and go like, what the fuck's going on,
Dude, if I was the security there that night, I would have weighed up my options. I would have went, all right, there's 5 of those guys. Then there's eight big pro wrestling dudes in the ring.
Yeah.
One,
that's the thing. I think
one named Big Rig swinging a kendo stick. I'm gonna jump in and look like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm gonna jump in and be like, fucking let's get these guys. You know what I mean? Like,
well, in a way, I think they just sort of saw us and went, oh, they know how to look after themselves, sort of thing. Like, we can sort of just take a back seat. But yeah.
Oh man, but fuck, that's hilarious, dude.
Yeah.
But you know what? Like, I suppose like it's it's one thing to sit there and like you can boo, cheer, and even say some things like like I've been to some wrestling shows where I've seen people yell out some stuff, and I'm like, really, dude, you've got your like 5-year-old next to you, like
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like the little thing in some people's heads just really don't click to like appropriateness of it. So it's like just because someone's a heel doesn't mean you have to call them
like a homophobic slur or anything like that. Like
yeah,
that's sort of something that you hear like pretty much like every show. Like someone comes back and says, like there's someone out there that's just not like they're not good sort of thing. Like with the crowd, like there's always someone that just ruins the fun for everyone.
Oh man, there's dickheads everywhere. There's dickheads everywhere you go. Like, there's no avoiding that, and especially when you've got like a large group of people, like at a wrestling show, there's got to be at least 5 of those fuckheads like running around.
Exactly. They're all spread out too.
Exactly, man. But you had a run as the IWA Trans Tasman champion. Who did you beat for that title, and how long were you carrying it for?
So I beat Rig at Engadine in that was October, I think the 25th of October that was. And then
I corner from my house. I live in Engadine.
Oh really?
Yeah, I missed the last Engadine show because my son was sick.
Oh, spewing.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, because we went there at the start of last year, and I think there was a Sharks game or something was on. So there was like all these drunk blokes just came back to the pub and like they just saw the banners and everything and saw, pro wrestling was on. So they all just bought these tickets, and there would have been about 200 people there. Like, but they were at that drunk level that they were really good. Like they knew they were very respectable and everything like that. And it was honestly like just a different environment. And so we talked to the like Magic Mark. We spoke to him heaps about going back there and everything. And so went back there. I got my shot at Riggs belt. Went over, and then in January on tour, it was the last night of tour in Sawtell. We had a street fight, and that's where I dropped it. And I think that was January 9. So it wasn't the longest reign, but still very proud of myself. And yeah.
Was that your first title reign?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think like even then, like there's like I said before, like an appreciation, because like when a promotion gives you a title, they see something in you. What I mean? Exactly. Like how much did that actually mean to you winning that title?
Honestly, I don't think you could really put it into words.
Yeah.
The culture and everything at IWA is just above and beyond. Like, we're sort of a brotherhood in a respect there. So to be able to go over and get the belt for them was, as I said, like indescribable. And then especially to be able to have won and lost it to, as I said, my best mate. It was crazy.
And you said before, it's like, you and Rig, when you guys get in the ring together, it's just, chemistry.
Yeah, exactly.
And he actually told me about the Wild Engadine show. Like when I had him on, he was like, "That fucking shit was
legendary."
Dude, next I told, because I was talking to Mark at the IWA show, and I said to him, next time you do the Engadine show, I said, dude, I will host the post show barbecue at my house. And he's like, awesome. He's like, really? I said, mate, I've got a swimming pool, I got a beer fridge stack full. I said, we'll have a big old barbie. He's like, all right, done. But no, mate,
that'd be awesome.
Exactly, man. Exactly. So I just have to tell my wife there's probably 12 to 15 pro wrestlers that are going to be coming around 9 o'clock at night. So, but even then, like for yourself, like who's going through it, is there ever any way, like, do you want to explore being a heel? Because at the moment, like I said, I've never seen the reaction that you got was like, it was insane. Like every single
Yeah.
person in that crowd was like cheering, chanting, and it was like as soon as that music hit, as soon as you came out, you know, you got that huge reaction. Have you ever thought about wanting to turn heel and how you would do that?
Yeah, so for a brief stint, I had done a heel role at Wrestling Go as part of Wrestling No. Like changed the name up to Darren and just wore black. But I definitely think I am more of a natural baby face. Like I was told, I got like some of the feedback that I got from my match with Ketis was the thing about me. My best like what was it like I guess aspect or like the best thing I do in the ring is take a heat. So like my best trait is selling and everything like that and sort of building the crowd up for when I do get that eventual comeback and everything, like to really try have the crowd explode and everything like that. So yeah, I don't know. I don't really see myself as a heel. Like I love sort of being the good guy that the kids look up to and like as I said, like the crowd laughs and all that sort of stuff, like just that sort of different character. So like, and I, I don't think I could wipe the smile off my face while I wrestle, like to be able to do a bad guy. So, because like it's just so surreal, you know, like because really I am still like a huge fan and everything. So and like growing up, it's like always been the dream. So to be able to do it, like I'm living my dream sort of thing. So yeah, you can't wipe the smile off my face when I wrestle. So yeah, I don't know. I don't think I'll go back into the bad guy role anytime soon.
Oh, that's fair enough, man. When you're getting that reaction, bro, you don't need to be changing character.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? You don't need
yeah.
to be doing changes like that. But you know, you mentioned being a fan growing up. Who were some of your biggest inspirations? Who were some of the ones that you really enjoyed watching?
Growing up, it would have been. I was really big on Kane. Like I don't know why, but I just sort of stuck to him.
So we're just frozen there for a second. Dazza will be back in a second, guys. But make sure that you get your MWA merchandise, guys. You can head over to MWA World. That's prowrestlingtees.com/MWA World and get yourself some of our amazing merchandise that we have on offer, guys. We are sitting here talking to Dazza. We have some amazing interviews coming up as well, guys. I've got an interview coming up with Deathmatch Down Under Management and Wrestlers, which is a new promotion based out in Melbourne, Australia. I'm really looking forward to sitting down with those guys and learning about their promotion. I'm a huge Deathmatch fan, as most of you guys know. And also, I have a PWA star Angel coming up next week. That'll be on Tuesday at 9 p.m. So, guys, you want to make sure that you don't miss out on either of those two interviews. Guys, this has been a great interview with Dazza so far. We're just waiting for him to come back. We have a question from Christy. What was your favorite Pat Patterson moment? I'm very sad to hear about the passing of Pat Patterson. It was a devastating, 79 years of age. Well, 20, 30 years ago, 79, you'd be considered like old. I think like at 79 in 2020 is still young to some degree. So yeah, like that was quite surprising because there was no word of Pat Patterson even being sick or ill. So that was a real shock to the system. But guys, while we're waiting for Dazza, feel free to throw out some questions. Whatever you want to ask me or Dazza, let us know. When Dazza comes back, we'll have him back on to really sort of go through this. But guys, look, like I said, we have some great interviews coming up. We've also got, as I said, prowrestlingtees.com/MWA World for all your MWA merchandise. So we have a question for Dazza and when returning. That's Alcoholic Adam. We've got Dazza back. Thank you for everyone who's sticking with us, Dazza. Welcome back, brother.
Sorry about that.
That's all cool, bro. You put me on a high spot and I had to sit there and improvise.
Just keeping you on the edge of the seat.
Well, mate, that's why I'm drinking out of my CM Punk cup tonight. So there's no beer in this one, son. So
Sorted.
exactly, I make doesn't sound like I haven't had a beer today, but I make sure I have a beer after I do my shows. So
Yeah.
All right. So Dazza, we just got. Here we go. Joel Southgate. Imagine Dazza coming out as Kane for Newey Pro Halloween show.
Who knows? Could happen.
You know what?
Like, big red.
You know what? I'd change it to Kano.
Kano, yeah.
Yeah, or Kazza or something like that. But you mentioned you were a big fan of Kane. What was it about him? Was it just the sort of larger than life character, like
I think so.
person?
Yeah, like just because as with myself, he was just so different to like everything else you saw, and like he was just this big, like bad guy that I don't know, I just sort of got glued to him whenever he was on the screen. I just made sure that I was watching.
Which version of Kane are we talking about here, though?
So he was like the bald, and he had the black tights with like the red barbed wire around. So it would have been like sort of, what would that be, like 06, 05 Kane?
Oh, dude, you're making me feel so fucking old. Prick. Yeah, no, dude, that was crazy because that's around the time he unmasked.
Yeah, just after, yeah. Like he come out with like the head towel on his head and everything, yeah.
Yeah, the half-shaved head and shit.
Yeah, bad motherfucker.
There you go.
Sort of,
I'm telling you, man, the skullet's in.
Oh, no, I don't think I'm that brave to do that. But no, as I'm getting older, I don't know if it's just sort of, I don't know how it started or whatever, but I'm just huge on Hogan. Like I just see him as probably the greatest of all time. He's just like no other.
Dude, you know what? Like Hulk Hogan, like I think for me, I was born in the 80s, right? So as an 80s kid, like everyone knew who Hulk Hogan was. Like 80s and 90s, everyone knew who Hulk Hogan was. I can remember being a kid, like maybe like 10 or 11 years old, when he went over to WCW, and like when he left WWE, me and my friends were at school going, yeah, the reason why Hulk Hogan stopped wrestling is because it became like not real. Like it wasn't a real fight anymore. That's why Hulk Hogan left. And you know what I mean? Like just the ridiculousness of that is like, that's stupid. But like, that's as kids, we were like, that's the only reason. Like Hulkster's like, he's like he can beat anybody. And I think, every kid around the world was a huge fan of Hogan. And he's done some questionable shit in his life, but fuck, who hasn't? Like, you know what I mean? Like, let's be real. Like, who hasn't done some questionable shit? I don't think that should affect his legacy, though.
No, not at all.
But what was it for you? Like, you're getting into Hogan a bit later in life. What's got you into Hogan? Is it the fact of the crowd reaction, his presence?
So after like watching it back, at one point I was doing it weekly. Like my favorite match is him and The Rock at Mania. So I don't know. Just from there, I just sort of just got stuck to him, and then just watching him more and more, like old school Hogan, and then there's like him at WCW and just everything he'd done, and like his presence and everything. And like because he was sort of what I want to be, where it's he was just that big baby face. Like whenever his music hit, like instantly everyone was on their feet. Like everyone knew who's coming out, and like they knew that how exciting and everything he was. So I see him as a like huge role model and inspiration.
Oh, dude. And you know what? You mentioned the match against him and like The Rock at WrestleMania.
Yeah.
Dude, I'm going to say this, and I don't give a fuck if it gets me heat or not. That was probably Hulk Hogan's greatest match that I'd ever seen.
Oh, yeah. For sure.
Like, hands down. Hands down. But like, what other performers have really sort of been one that have been inspiration to you? Like, I know once you get into the business of professional wrestling, you're sort of like the way that you look at it would change.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, the
like,
appreciation definitely
yeah,
changes. But like, yeah, sort of growing up, I was probably everyone around my age would say Eddie Guerrero was
ooh,
huge. And then like when he passed away, it was like a massive loss to like every fan that whether you loved him or hated him, like you knew how good he was. Other than that, like Undertaker, Batista, like I was just I love those like just the larger than life type
big dude.
characters. Yeah.
Oh, absolutely, man. You know, it's you had me up until Batista, but you know, I'm kidding. Um, please don't kill me, Batista. Um, yeah, no, look, dude, I think it's one thing to really sort of look at those larger than life characters because that's what they are, and that's what's so captivating about them. And you know, you mentioned Eddie Guerrero. I can remember there is only like I have never cried on watching movies, TVs, shows, whatever. I've not been that person. And
Yep.
like when Eddie Guerrero passed away, when Owen Hart passed away, those were two times where I legit fucking cried. And it was like,
Yeah.
why am I crying? I don't know these people, but it was like the amount, like, you know, I don't know them personally, but it's like that emotion is like, holy shit, like, fuck, this
Yeah.
person was amazing. And it's like, then the layer beneath that, or behind that, I should say, not beneath it, is like the family that have just lost this amazing individual. And it's like, you know what I mean? It puts a lot of stuff into perspective for it as well. But like, it's amazing. Like, those were the only two times I've cried while watching TV or anything movie wise in my life.
Yeah, I still remember the Eddie Guerrero like video packages they put on like the Raws and the Smackdowns and everything. Yeah, it was very emotional.
Oh yeah, man. And it was a weird time as well because it's like they had Chavo doing the like Kerwin White gimmick where
Yeah.
he's like I'm the ultimate white man and shit. Like it's like wow.
Yeah.
You know, so like I think it was just like it was a crazy time in the world. But as far as like Australian wrestling, has there been any, you know, besides Rig and the guys that you've trained with, has there been any Australian stars that you've really looked up to, whether they be, you know, wrestlers of the past, if they still come to shows? Is there any guys in the Aussie scene that you've really looked up to over the years?
Yeah, so like from my first show going as a fan, one like sort of the person who really got me to be interested in wrestling and want to train and become a wrestler was Matt Diamond. Um, like seeing him in the ring and his style and everything. Like for me, I hadn't watched wrestling in a very long time, so like I wasn't really up to date with all like the new like modern high flyers and all that sort of stuff. So to see like him and Robbie Eagles and Mick Moretti, um, and then like also on the other end of it is like Jack Bonza, where he's just like that technical and like the bad guy, you know, the guy that you love to hate, and then being able to be coached by him has been like really surreal.
Oh, I can imagine. And you know, you've wrestled, you know, you mentioned a few of the PWA guys, and you know, you've wrestled on PWA. I believe I saw bits of a match with you and I want to say Kingsley.
Nah, I've never
No.
wrestled Kingsley. No. Was it recent or?
I'm not too sure. I was only sort of flipping through and sort of came across
Okay.
this match. So, but you know, what's it like wrestling for PWA compared to some of the other promotions out there?
Um, it is very different because you know they are like the top company in the country. So to be able to be given a spot on the card, no matter where you are, is a huge opportunity and a real privilege. So yeah, I haven't had many matches for PWA, but every time like I do get the opportunity, I give it my all. And because like yeah, you only need sort of a couple of people to take notice of what you do, and then like it sort of starts to build and everything.
The flow
So
on effect.
yeah.
And how did the PWA crowd take to you when you came out? Did you get the reaction that you wanted? Was it
Yeah.
everything go in your favor?
Yeah. Because in Newey, a lot of the fans like are sort of the same. Like there's sort of that core group that are at pretty much every show around Sydney and Newcastle. So yeah, like you just get those few people that like start the cheer and start the clap and everything, and then it's just like once you hear the music, like Cotton Eye Joe, it's just sort of a bit infectious to smile and laugh and clap along. So it's really good.
Yeah, and you mentioned Newey Pro, and I went to a Newey Pro show ages ago. I'd been out drinking all day in Sydney, and a mate of mine said, "Let's go to this wrestling show in Newcastle." And I was okay. And it was such a cool environment to be around, and it's almost like that. Yeah, you said it's like the same crowd because Newey Pro has the same venue that they run shows in all the time, and you get that real like ECW type vibe from it. You know what I mean? Like that loyal,
it's real sort of
diehard fan
underground.
base.
Yeah, yes, 100%.
And but mind you, doing it in a place like Newcastle, which isn't as large as what Sydney is, it gives it. I mean, to get that sort of crowd is like
like because we're sort of averaging from 250 to like 400 people per show. So it's insane. And like they're always just such a good crowd and always so into it and everything. So yeah, wrestling there it's a dream.
You never had anyone from a Newey Pro show trying to storm the ring like you did out in Foster?
Not during any of my matches, but I have seen it happen and it didn't turn out too well for them.
I can imagine, dude. It's as we got Alcoholic Adam in the house, he's saying Newey is always buzzing. He also has a question. He also has a question for you, but I don't know if Dazza is going to reveal this information for you, Ads. What is next for the Infinity Gauntlet, and any plans to cash it in soon?
Well, I think we need to get back to shows first, but no, like as soon as we go back, I'd love to, like as I said to you earlier, Matt Diamond, like because I'm in the middleweight division there in Newcastle, and that's what I have my gauntlet for. And Matt Diamond is the Newey Pro middleweight champion. So yeah, as soon as I can get back and have the opportunity to step in the ring with him, I'll be throwing it down.
And I think that's the really cool thing about, well, not the cool thing, but one of the cool things about Newey Pro, a middleweight title. We've had cruiserweight, we've had light heavyweight, we've had junior heavyweight, and like there's a couple of promotions now doing middleweight title, and you know what? I really dig it because it's like, as I said to you earlier, it's something different, it's something unique that you're not used to hearing.
Yes, 100%.
So, Christy Black Adam, she's in the house as well. I think you've got a fan in her, Dazza. She wants to know, how did you come up with your finisher?
So yeah, the wagon wheel. All good stuff.
So let's first let's just explain to our viewers that are not from Australia what a wagon wheel is. I don't think they get them, but a wagon wheel. You want to explain it?
Damn, rightio. So yeah, how do you explain it? Really, just
it's a chocolate.
Imagine
biscuit.
like the biggest. Oh, you want to do the Chocky Bicky?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Like, I'm the actual one.
No. Well, I'm explaining I'm explaining what a wagon wheel is. It's just a chocolate biscuit with like jam and cream in the middle of it.
Yeah,
but like,
it's heaven in your mouth.
It absolutely
They're the best.
is, man. It just
absolutely.
Mate.
Yeah.
So explain the move.
All right, so it's the rolling Death Valley driver. So I have like them on my shoulders and pretty much do a cartwheel with them on my shoulders. Yeah, like that's sort of it. But no, it's put away some top people, and yeah, I absolutely love it.
How'd you come up with the move?
I was watching an NXT and Velveteen Dream was using it. And then I just thought like, oh shit, like that's so different to anything else you've ever seen. So yeah, just went to training the next day, started practicing it on a few unfortunate people, and then yeah, the rest is history. Gave it the name the wagon wheel. And
I suppose doing something like that with someone on your shoulders and literally doing like, you know what I mean, like a wheel, like, has there ever been a time where you've injured yourself doing it? Like, because it looks like if you're not on point, you could really hurt yourself.
Yeah. No, I've been very fortunate that yeah, I haven't hurt myself doing it yet, or anyone else too badly. But like I've had
Enough
a
to get
few
a 3
people.
count.
Yeah, exactly. Like I've had a few people afterwards say like, "Oh, it's not the best move to take because my shoulder is pretty much driving into their genitalia." So I think that might be what sort of keeps them down to the 3. They just can't kick out. So
Fuck, man, getting a shoulder to the nuts, bro. Like, fuck.
yeah,
No wonder they're
yeah.
complaining.
Now I'm not a light boy either, so I definitely feel I wouldn't take it. That's for sure. Like I wouldn't want to. I wouldn't want to take it.
Dude. But when you got into pro wrestling, did you ever sit down and set yourself out goals or like a plan of what you wanted to achieve when you wanted to achieve it? Or was it just like, let's get in there and just take each day as it comes, take each match as it comes, and see where this takes me?
Yeah, it was a bit of a mixture of both. I come into it obviously wanting to, I guess, be one of the best at the Hoos, the House of Free Fighting. And so, yeah, I took like every training session, everything. I just took as much knowledge and everything I could take in, and like sort of spoke to as many people as I could at training and like my fellow trainees and everything. And then also like when you go to shows in Sydney, you sort of build friendships and everything, get in people's ears and all that sort of stuff. But like, yeah, like obviously as the Who shows were getting more exposure and like becoming more of their own show, like that was a huge goal that I wanted to set myself. As well as like there's certain people that you want to wrestle as well to get their like pick their brain sort of thing. But yeah, and there's still some people on that list that I'd love to get in there with. But then obviously at the moment that's sort of all being put on hold. But yeah.
Who are some of the guys that you haven't wrestled in New South Wales that are on your bucket list?
So
Or girls?
Sorry.
I said
All
guys
girls,
or
yeah.
girls. Yeah.
Yeah. So obviously Matt Diamond is my number one. Then there's also like Paris De Silva. I'd love to get in there with him.
He's great.
Yeah, I was meant to have a singles with Mick Moretti in Newcastle. I was like the match had been announced and everything, and it was sort of the day before the show is when like everything got cancelled, everything got shut up, and all that sort of stuff. So that was sort of like a big missed opportunity for me. But coming back now, like he's still someone that I'd love to get in there with. But then also like Steph DeLander. Like I've become really close friends with Steph. I was part of the big rigs with her and Rig in Newcastle where we won the gauntlets. And yeah, like I don't know, I'd love to wrestle Steph. But we'll see how everything goes.
Oh man, she's amazing as well. Like
yeah,
that last PWA show I went to, man, that bump that they took at the end, holy shit.
Yes,
that was something next level, like, and
yeah,
every match I see of hers, like she just gets better and better.
Yeah, 100%.
But Rig, when's the next match for you? Not Rig, sorry. You've got Rig stuck in my head. Dazza, when's the next match for you?
So at the moment scheduled is the summer tour for IWA. We're going to Tuncurry, Sawtell, and Laurenton. That's from January 6 to January 9. And then from that, there's nothing set in stone as of yet, but I'll be clawing at the bit to get as many opportunities as I can. That's for sure.
Oh, absolutely. Now,
I'll just say, just one last. There's also the Free Fighting League that we're starting up at the House of Free Fighting.
The Furry Fighting League?
Free Fighting League, yeah.
Oh, Free Fighting League, sorry.
Yeah. That's sort of like something that Coach Hoffman's been putting a lot of time and effort and like his whole heart into getting this for us as a way of exposure and a way for us to still wrestle and do what we love in this time where we can't do it in front of a crowd here in Newcastle. So, that's something I'd like to put out there as well. I'm not too sure when that will go live and everything, but I think that'll be huge.
let me know. I'm happy to promote it on our social
Oh,
media. Let everyone know. So you just you hit me up, you let me know, and we can definitely do that. But Dazza,
yeah.
if people want to follow you, they want to see some of the crazy antics and crazy shit that you get up to. Where can they do that, brother?
So on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook, my tag is Dazza. Um, yeah, it's pretty. I was also on wrestler merch. Um, yeah, that's about all I got.
There you go, you fucks. Go to
Yeah.
Wrestler merch, get some Dazza merchandise. Support this man. His gimmick is amazing. He's a great in-ring talent and an amazing performer overall, guys. So please go subscribe, go follow, go buy some of his merch. You won't be disappointed. Dazza, firstly, I just want to say thank you so much for doing the show. It's been an amazing experience. We're almost at that 1 hour mark, and I feel like I could talk to you for another 2, but I want to be conscious of your time, mate. I also apologize for slipping up and calling you Rig, mate. It's because
That's
you
all
mentioned
right.
his name and it just sort of threw me for a second. So
We've copped that a fair few times. Yeah.
there you go, mate. But thank you so much for coming on the show. I just want to
Thank you.
also thank our audience for participating tonight, for tuning in like they do every single show that we put on. I absolutely appreciate it. Please make sure that if you are watching on YouTube, you hit that subscribe button somewhere along the top here. Hit that bell to stay notified every time we go live. And guys, as I've mentioned before, head over to prowrestlingtees.com/MWA world to get some of your MWA amazing merchandise. Also, quick thanks to our sponsors, A-Rock Designs, Signal Studios, for supporting this show, for sponsoring this show, and keeping the lights up in this bitch. But guys, you've seen my interview with the Dunny Do bad boy Dazza. Make sure you tune in for the next one. And Dazza, again, man, you're welcome back on the show anytime, brother.
Thank you very much. It was a lot of fun. Thank you.
Absolutely, man. Let's do it again. See you guys.